What's up, everybody? My name is Tachi. Welcome back to another edition of Be More. As you know, I often have conversations about different media related things. So this is kind of like a Be More moment, but it's still Be More. Just roll with me. But guess what? I have somebody with me. We don't always have to hear from me alone. In fact, I prefer to have other people that have knowledge about the media to come on and talk about it. And I have that today, and we will meet her after this.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire.
Okay, I told you all that I have an amazing guest today. I always have amazing guests, and she is no different. I would like to introduce to you Shawanna Kennedy.
Hello. How you doing, Dr. Tachi?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Oh, come on, Songbird. Amazing. Okay, so there is a very specific reason that we are on.
Yes.
Part of the thing that we do in media is we try to jump on the trends straight away. We don't even wait for the dust to settle. Well, I do sometimes because I'd rather be right than first. So, but in this case, the dust has settled a little bit. There was a particular event that happened, was it not? Let's talk about it. Shawanna, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm super excited because of all the sports, right? Everybody already know of all the sports. This was boxing. We took to the ring. Actually, and because I'm not big on basketball. I love, some of the different teams and all of that, and even football. But boxing, especially the old time favorites, that's when we kind of date ourselves to go back to know that after he's retired to then return, someone coming back, being seen in the media at age
58. 58, I believe he is.
58, yes, 58.
So let's talk about who this is, because we're just saying who fought?
Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Now,
yeah.
For people who don't know, Tyson is an old school. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a boxing fan normally, but there was something about this that stood out, which I said, okay, this is why I had to watch. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But so Mike Tyson, obviously, he was a former heavyweight champion of the world. Is that correct?
That is correct. And actually, he started young in his 20s. He was knocking them out left and right. And that's what he was known for, besides, of course, that whole ear biting thing.
and this is the funny thing. He did refer to it as he didn't try to step away from it. He did refer to it. So very interesting indeed. And of course, we have Jake Paul. And Jake Paul is someone who people may not know, but if you are of a certain age, like if you are Gen Z, etc., even a millennial, you probably will know who he is. Forget it. I mean, I know who he is, but that's because I'm a content creator. I follow YouTube, and he's a YouTuber and content creator who actually now has also transitioned into fighting. I don't know if he came from the MMA world as well, but definitely boxing. So what I'm interested in is we wanted to come on and have a little talk about this fight and how it relates to being better in media, leveling up in media. Shawanna, I'm going to let you start first.
No, I love it, because when I think about what they did, we lean in and look in, and of course, everybody immediately, you either think about the age or you think about the money. And at the end of the day, or the beginning of the day, there was money to be made. When you be more is what we're doing in media, allowing us to then reap the financial benefits. Of course, the benefit to me is that we're able to help different people, right? We're able to help spread our messages across the globe. But if you're being honest, I say one of the kickers to the beautiful thing that I get to do is then I get paid to do this. But to know that I believe at the end and the beginning of the day, they knew that there was money to be made, and they used media to do it. And so, when I think about that, they knew it.
They 100% knew it. And if you ask me, this was less about boxing than it was about leveraging image and leveraging that image to make money. It could have been anything, right? They just happened to be boxers.
You brought an old influencer and a young influencer together. How about that? Because they were able to between the both of them cover what, decades?
Decades.
People who didn't know Paul, people who didn't know Tyson. Now you're introducing them both to each other's platforms. So you already know they broke the internet, not just Netflix.
Exactly. So number one of the lessons we have here, because what we're looking at is lessons from this fight for media, cross-platforming. Don't ever think that only that your audience is the only audience that would exist for you. Now, there may be an audience that is more likely to latch on to what you say and to watch you, but that doesn't mean other audiences would not. So what does this mean? Team up with an influencer, and I'm saying that in quotes, team up with an influencer that has a different audience that you would like to reach. That's definitely a great way to reach them. So that's an excellent example, and that's an excellent lesson. So we got lesson number one, cross-platforming, and reach out and collaborate with other influencers that have an audience that you would like to reach.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, leaning into what one may have or the other may have. It was priceless. Actually, it was a big price, but it was priceless.
Priceless. You can't pay. Listen. And this was the cheapest advertising ever. If you, despite the fact that you had to that they had to pay for all this stuff, they had to secure it. Number one, they had people there in person. Number two, Netflix had, I believe 140 million who were watching this as well. So that, to me, they made their money back times 20, right? So
there was a lot of people that made money off of this.
Lots of people, not even, forget Netflix, is that there were so many people that made money off of this. Think about, and this is another thing when we think about if we're monetizing our videos, monetizing our media. Shawanna brings up an excellent point in terms of there were a lot of people that made money. Who are the associated tandem people, affiliated businesses that you can latch on to that will help in this endeavor, right? It wasn't just about the boxing, gloves, shorts when he had shorts on.
No, hey, let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
He made it a statement to talk about the fact that his outfit, Jake Paul's outfit, cost over $1 million, and it represents somebody else's brand. Mm-hmm. So thinking about brand in media, what does that look like? So now someone else is going to want to be all sparkly or have something custom made for them. Yeah.
Exactly. So number one, again, think about collaboration, cross-platforming, and collaborating to reach other audiences. Number two, what are the affiliated or associated or tandem brands that you can bring on when we're talking about monetization that you can bring on? And they don't have to just be related specifically to the thing. The people that are benefiting, it's not just boxing stuff. It's all sorts of stuff. So excellent, Shawanna. Absolutely. There was something I wanted to bring up if you don't mind. There was something I wanted to bring up. So I would think for me, number three would be think about if you are prepared to take on the amount of people that would come to buy or purchase your service. So I'm saying that with regard to the fact that Netflix weren't ready, as people like to say, they weren't ready. They were not ready because I don't know if they did not anticipate that many people watching, but they had buffering issues. And at first I thought it was me. I was like, am I buffering? Is it mine? No, but it wasn't just me. There were lots of people all across that had a problem watching it. And everybody was, because my sister was watching in Malaysia, so everybody across the world had this issue, and that's because they underestimated the popularity of this. But
did they?
You think this was purposefully done? Please do tell us.
How else are you going to check your bandwidth if it's never stretched?
You're right, but was this the time to check the bandwidth? That's what I'm.
But I, in someone's mind, I might believe they say, you know what, that was still a good problem to have, because at this point, think about how many people who didn't have Netflix that might have gotten that little mini subscription just so they could see it. So think about all these people that not only were watching who have it and they all watching at the same time, but how many people said, let me get this trial because I do want to see this match.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. But I'm wondering what this does to their brand, because now you have an event that you could not handle. Now, again, I'm sure they're going to fix it, but the next time there is something of this magnitude, would promotion or promoters say, nah, not Netflix, because look what happened with that fight. That's what my fear is. So maybe they will throw something of their own to show, look, yes, we can handle it, because they have had things before, just not boxing and not as many people that watch. So they did I believe it's Love is Blind. So they did the season finale. Yes. They did that live with Nick Lachey.
Same thing with them. Yeah.
So they did that, but that doesn't draw anywhere near the amount of eyes that this fight did. So it was stretched, and you're right. The stretch to the limit is a good test to that limit. But I'm saying that probably wasn't the time for them to test. I don't know how they would have gone about testing. It's inevitable that maybe something would have happened anyway, but
it's just like a party, though. It's just like a party.
Yeah.
That's why they have the fire marshal. Hello, you get all of these people that want to come to the party. Everybody's going to get in.
So you're saying it's a good thing because it's saying that it's so popular that it crashed the system. So many people that it crashed the system. So this could be a good thing.
Yeah, okay. I really believe that. I really try to look at, when we think about media, I try to see both sides. So in this case, of course, them being brave enough to say, let's go with Netflix, because somebody still had to say, can Netflix handle this? Not just Netflix, but when they looked at their teams to say, hey, you know what, let's do here. Somebody had already thought that there was a possibility that something could go wrong. I don't believe that they didn't think about it and then it just blew up. Nah, I don't buy it.
Okay. Well, the money was right, I guess, because
exactly,
they're gonna go where the money is. So
follow the money, people. Follow the money.
The money was right. So even if that's a thing, if the money is right and Netflix outbids whoever else wants a certain product, they may go with that because they're trying to make the most amount of money possible. Okay, I get it. So we've got a few lessons here. So let's talk more a little bit about what we can take from this fight for media. What else is a lesson that we can apply to media or video?
I'll say it. If anything, you need to own your brand. You need to own your brand, because their brands spoke volume. Their brands spoke volume. What I noticed too, if you are not, even if I didn't know this, I really didn't, I knew him, but I didn't know him, but it made you pay more attention, right? What are you doing that's entertaining? That's what happened. They gave us a show, even though people were kind of upset, because if you're like me, I'm a Mike Tyson fan, from back in the day. That's when I kind of date myself and tell my age. However, I was still excited for him because he still owned his brand. He still owned who he was as an individual. And if you did so happen to catch that episode or catch that boxing match, at the end, when they were asking him all of these questions, he said, no, I did it for me. That means it doesn't matter if he won or not. It was still for him to see what he could do. And not to mention, what else did it do for his brand outside of boxing? This guy is into cannabis. It's so many other things that he's doing that now people who didn't know about him, who now we already knew, they blew up the internet checking and finding out more information about him. So are you doing something that's entertaining? Are you teaching something? Are you visible? Is your message clear? Because even though Netflix had their problem, what about you? When they look at you, is the message, if I was to click on your website right now, what does that look like for you and your business? So make sure that you are visible, but when you're visible, you have something that you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so the message was clear in terms of what the intentions were. They were there for a purpose, and the purpose was for a boxing match. It was clear, and there was messaging before this.
Yes.
I reported on this on Mediascope that this fight was going to happen. Was it the beginning of the year? As soon as it came out, I reported it on Mediascope. So I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't remember the date. So then I said, okay, this is what I was talking about on Mediascope. So the messaging was out there and the messaging was clear. They released press releases. They had press releases out. They did all sorts of things showing leading up to this point that this was going to happen. So their messaging was clear. So 100% about that. We knew what they were there for. And it also has the effect of boosting other things that they do, right? So it's like this halo effect type thing of we assume that because a person is good in one thing that they're also good at other things. Now, that's not always the case, but we do that with celebrities. This is why we buy their endorsements.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. Michael Jordan didn't know about BVD underwear. Remember back in the day, he used to be like, what do they know about underwear? But it's assumed because he is the greatest shot in the world when it comes to basketball that he also knows something about underwear. Go figure, but that's the way we think. So it's like that kind of halo effect. Absolutely. You know, there were so many different things here. So in addition to are you ready? Are you ready for all that's going to come? Have you prepared? Is the message clear, as we were talking about? Going on, are you prepared for the aftermath, right? So great, you put your message out there in a video or a live stream and you put it and it's there for people to act on. Are you prepared for that action? Or did you just put it out there? Because this fight in and of itself is going to lead to other things. It doesn't necessarily mean another fight, which it inevitably will, but it doesn't necessarily mean another fight. It will mean endorsements from other companies wanting them to endorse things. It will mean speaking appearances. It could mean tours. It could mean a lot of different things. So when you put that message out there in the form of a video or a live stream, and you're doing it because you want people to act, be prepared to act on that action. Just saying. Absolutely. Other thoughts, Shawanna?
I just want individuals, if you didn't learn anything else or see anything else, even if you heard about it, the fact that one thing that I can again applaud Mike Tyson for is he did not let his age stop him. He didn't let the age stop him. Yeah, we know money. I'll say it. Money was involved. Mm-hmm. However, he could have still said, because of this, I don't want to embarrass myself. And that's even having the conversation with the person that you're collaborating with. We know that they have had to have different conversations because Jake Paul even mentioned how his father was fond of Mike Tyson. So having the conversation with people that you're going to collaborate with so that it's a win-win for both. And in this case, it certainly was a win-win for both of them in the other things that they're doing. In addition to even thinking about the people who maybe not even necessarily be a part of your team, but they're part of your circle, this still opened up the door and the gateway for other people to be noticed and to be seen. So is our brand able to shed the light on someone else doing something good? Those are things that we need to think about as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the thing that I like about this is that it's a teachable moment for so many other media moments, for video and live stream moments. If you're going to be out there, as Shawanna said, to be seen and be heard, make sure that your messaging is clear. Tell people what you're there for and deliver what they're there for. People were there to see a fight and they delivered. Whether or not we believe it was the best delivery is a different case, but they delivered. They also cross-platformed, right? They cross-platformed and they exposed each other to each other's audience.
I don't want to talk about the cheeks now. You said expose. You did put that word in there.
Oh gosh. Can we not? Because that just... I thought that was a camera mistake. I was like, they didn't turn away, but it was intense. So here's the thing. It's intentional, and that's a viral moment, okay? Everybody was talking about that. So when we talk about that viralness, and we relate it to social media, your videos going viral, etc., fine. That's viral. Everything is all exposed. But now what are you going to do with it? Because that exposure moment could just live in infamy, and it's like, oh Lord, that's not what I intended to see. But it happens, and it was probably purposeful because he doesn't care. What do you do with it now, right? So please, we're not saying to go and expose yourself. That's not what we're saying. Please do not. But what we are saying is when you have a video that goes viral like that, it's not just enough for it to sit in its viralness. Now what do you do? Capitalize off of that viralness. So
yeah. No, I love it because, like, I have to say it because I believe for both of the gentlemen, they spoke their truth. As wild and as crazy and outspoken as Jake Paul was, he made sure that his personality, he didn't tone it down at all, except for when he took the bow, when he really could have clearly did a TKO. So we appreciate him for allowing Mike Tyson to keep his honor and not really giving the whole 1-2, because I really believe he really could have knocked him out. But it's really with your brand, with your business, be intentional. They were very intentional. And all you could do, nothing be to fail except for a try. So even if it, because you won't know the bandwidth in some cases with our businesses and in media is if you don't try, but have something for the people to see. Make sure you're being entertaining. You have to be entertaining. And they told a story. You have to be a great storyteller. They built on that story. They built on both of their stories.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably the crux of everything here, that they had a story to tell and they told it in the craftiest way they knew how. Boxing is really just a story. And it's not just a story of that one particular match. It's the story of everything that it took to get you to that point. It's the story of all the sacrifices that other people plus yourself have made to get you to that point. It's the story of where you came from. For Mike Tyson, is Mike Tyson from Harlem or from the Bronx? I think it's Harlem. He's from New York, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're the New Yorker, not me.
Yeah, I know, and I can't remember. I'm sorry, forgive me, Tyson. But he's from New York, so it's that story of wherever he's from in New York. It's that story of, is Jake Paul from Ohio? Why am I thinking Ohio?
He is Ohio. That's why I was Ohio. Like, oh, yes, he's Ohio.
Yes. So it's the story of where he grew up in Ohio. So it's everything. When you're storytelling, it's not just about that one thing. Particularly with this is the pinnacle. This is the summit of the story, right? And so it's everything that it takes to get you to the summit. That's what that storytelling is about. And I think that's what came out here. And again, we can all debate on to whether or not the fight was the way it should have been, whether or not it was a, quote, truthful depiction of what that fight would have been. But the point is, they told the story, they told it their way, and they don't give a damn because they've already gotten paid and they don't care what you think. So it is what it is. So it's and every story is left up to interpretation. So yeah, it is what it is. So any final thoughts you have on this whole thing as it relates to media? Because I think we needed this conversation.
In what we do, we really need to be authentic and speak our truth, because at the end of the day, I believe that's both their story. Their story spoke to the truth of who they are, and they seized an opportunity. And so I'm going to be tickled just to see what else they do behind this. What other, not only boxing opportunities, what are the multiple things that we do in media that other streams can come from the things that we do and we put out in media. So just keep those things in mind when we think about media. What are the avenues? What are the evergreen things? Because they're going to be playing this over and over and over. So when we put out things, make sure that they're of quality, so that if someone see it a year from now, 2 years, 10 years from now, it's still the quality of who, and it speaks to who you are as an individual and your brand, that messaging.
Listen, I'm only just a media person. However, I'm guessing that they're going to work on something together. Dare I say a cigar brand? Dare I say something is coming, and I feel it in my bones that
that's multiple streams. They wild the stuff and seeing if they were smart, and I'm pretty sure that they are. They already had a couple ideas that was on the table, and it's kind of like when you win the Super Bowl, right? They already have the shirts or the different things for both teams. If you win, the cake is already made. We just seeing whose cake going to come out.
Exactly.
And so they're gonna definitely do some more stuff to squeeze
we
all of it out.
We keep saying things that refer to the exposure. You said whose cake is gonna come. I don't know. You see what he's done, damn it.
Yeah. I would have loved to see his face after one of his team members when they just were behind the scene laughing later that evening or over the weekend and saying, "Man, you know they caught you, right?" And he was like,
no, it's coming. There's going to be a documentary the same way that they do things when they did with Beyonce, the behind the scenes tour with Homecoming and with what was the other one she did? But there is going to be like a concert film of this. Believe me, it's coming. So this is a way. Also, the multiple streams thing in media, you cannot just be one thing. You have to have multiple streams. So all the people that you see that are really doing well, if you're an actor, they're not just they're great actors, but the reality is there are so few slots for great actors compared to the number of people who want to do it. So, and you're only as good as your last gig. Therefore, I got to do something else. I have to find something else. So this is an example of that. Staying relevant. Absolutely. So this is an example of that. I'm looking to see what collabs they have in the future together. Like I said, for some reason, I'm thinking cigar brand. I don't know why, but I could see that. I could see cognac brand as well. I see those types of things happening. So I don't know. We'll just have to stay tuned and see if any of our predictions have come true. But I have to thank you so much for coming on, because this was an amazing conversation. We need to do this more often.
Yes. I would love to be more
You're already my dear. You're already So for those of you, what we want to know from you is what you thought about the fight in general, thought about what we talked about, and do you have some other ways that you think this could be related to media and video? And what do you see their collaboration in the future? What do you see for them in terms of a collaboration? Let us know in the comments below, and hopefully this is going to help you to consider other things besides just making the video, just making the live stream, and you're going to be more with your videos and live streams because of it. Until next time, we're signing off. Cheers.
We always here for you.